start off, and as I started well again, we're going to start off with a new segment on finishing out the interior here. We'll be putting on some glass tape on some of the edges they have, the bow seat edge, trailing edge of the seat, and then around the perimeter of the transom seat. And we'll get onto that. I got a couple things I wanted to say also. I guess everybody, I haven't sold any plans for a while, so I was talking to Chuck yesterday at Duckworks, and I guess this time is a slow season, so I guess, come on, get out to the shops and start building boats. I got a call the other day from a gentleman down in Oregon who is taking my 12-foot nuthatch plans, the 12-foot nuthatch pram, and he's going to convert it into aluminum. So he's built a lot of aluminum boats, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to come of that, because you're going to send me some photos on that. So, and I was also in contact with Robert Patterson from he's like the head designer of Neil Pride Sails back in I guess Rhode Island, yeah, or are they Connecticut? Rhode Island, I think, and Newport. And he is designing a new sail for them and for me and for you. It's going to be a 50 to 52 square foot sail. So right now they have a 36-foot Optimus sail, which I have one. It's a beautiful sail for my 8-foot boats. And then I had the Pram 64 square foot sail 64 square feet, which I've been using on the Granville Bay and the OMP pod. On some of the smaller boats like the Nuthatch 10 and the Lower Bay here, it was getting to be just a little bit too much sail for these things, especially the Lower Bay with its rounded bottom. So I asked him if he could, and he did, a new sail, which will be right halfway in between. It'll be 14 square foot bigger than the 36 and 14 square feet smaller than the 64. So we're debating now whether or not to put a reef point. I think I wanted a reef point, and I think he may. I don't know. We'll see it when I get the sail when it comes to me. So I'll show you that too, because I'm going to have to make a rigging on it. So let's get on to this. I had to take my rasp here and then roll over, because I don't know whether this seat slid a little bit on the Gel Magic. I thought I had it flush when I cut it, but it didn't, so it's since solid now, so I had to take my rasp and run it back flat and then take some 60 grit and run it over. So now I want to take my sliding square. I got it set at 1 inch because I'm going to be using 2-inch glass tape. So I'm going to set an edge along here. I could have one on the bottom, but I'm going to use this top one as my go-to line, and I'll use that one to square up the edge too. And I also put some tape around here that when I get the glass over here, I'll take a knife and cut it, and that'll give me a clean edge. And then I'm going to fair in. It's already faired and glassed down here, but I'm going to fair up into here. I don't think I'm going to glass it. It has enough Gel Magic holding it in, and it's under a low stress environment. And I believe if I just glass this one edge, it'll be enough reinforcement to keep it from popping. If it does, well, we'll do like we did in the Nymph on that last episode, where I had to reglass the seat in because the fillets weren't strong enough, but then I dropped it. So I wouldn't expect it to have not have popped. These two bulkheads here, all solidly in place now. I'm just going to fillet the outside, make it a little cleaner, and then I don't have to worry about a glass tape over this one here. But I will glass tape the inside on both sides. So let's go on and mark the transom seat. Just put a line in here, and you could almost just use a 1-inch rule like that. If you don't have a sliding gauge, even a piece of wood will work fine. Same thing along the edges here. I've added the old tape. Remember I said we'll save that tape? And I will do one edge. And it's going to be easier to do this that way. And I'm also going to do, let me get another little piece of wood, something smaller. I'll use this little scraper, those serrated, that's what I was using, the smallest teeth, to move the Gel Magic around on the bow seat there. What I want to do is come in from, use the straight side, and I'm going to put in some bisecting lines that kind of bisects the angle. And I'll use that as something to cut the edges of the tape here. And I'll go ahead and do that on all the other corners. Now I have my bisecting lines, I can add another 1-inch line here. And then you'll see what I'm trying to do with this bisect line. When this tape comes up here, I'll cut it along this one. When this tape comes over, I'll cut it along there, and then I'll match up the edges. Makes it a little nicer instead of overlapping, piling them on. Well, I've got my my silver tip mixed up. Good stuff. Now I'll go ahead and I also added a line down here. I got to thinking, you know, they just make it easier to know where to stop the putting the epoxy on. And I've got a small mixture. This is the cup I was telling you that I was using the dram scale on, so I got a 3 dram mix of 2 and 1. And I got to go out and get another acid brush. I only got one more after this one, so. We don't care if we have a little bit of rollover here because it's going to get trimmed off with a knife when it turns green. Keep my tape out of the epoxy. Stated. Well, the bow seat is all wet out, so now we'll go ahead and do a preliminary soaking. You want to really be certain that that edge here is round. Otherwise, if it's a sharp edge or even a very small radius, the glass cloth doesn't want to roll over on it, and it'll lift on either side of the one side or the other. The glass cloth will lift, and you'll have voids underneath of it. darts in the end. That way the tape doesn't pile up. Let me cut the bottom here, put a little bit of a point on it. Get it up on our line. Well, I just cut my darts here, wetted out this section. Once this smooths out, and then I'll it'll get good sanding. Well, I've got all the perimeter tapes on. That down here is just some over a bit of gray paint and not a lifting area. So that's all done, and I'll come back tomorrow and trim with a knife along these edges here, get rid of the excess, and then I'll fill it. I was thinking, well, maybe I should glass tape now, but no, I want to put fillets in next, and then I'll glass tape the sides and the front. I'm not going to come up here or back in there. The sides and the front should be more than enough. And I went ahead and I had some leftover epoxy, so I wet out along in the perimeters around here on the inside. System 3 epoxies have 3 days, 72 hours between coats before you have to sand. To when I put on the fillets tomorrow, I'll still get a chemical-to-chemical bond on the fillets to the epoxy and the Gel Magic, because that was just yesterday on the Gel Magic. So it'll be within 2 days on the within the 3-day window on the fillet material attaching to any exposed Gel Magic. So we'll come back.